The Golden State Warriors shocked everyone. The Golden State Warriors are dominating, distancing themselves from the rest of the league with a 417 record. Although this team is driven by its superstars, everyone on it, including some unexpected sources, helps make them successful. Off the bench, Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, and JaVale McGee have consistently performed well, but some other players are really picking up their play. The NBA next season is almost approaching, and as you're all well aware, the Golden State Warriors startled everyone. In today's video, I wanted to discuss 3 underappreciated players who will shock you next season. However, I did want to talk about 3 underrated players who you might not be aware of and who are going to make a significant difference to this team to help them win another NBA championship. Now, there are obviously many great players who will be on the Golden State Warriors roster for the upcoming season, but I believe these 3 will make the real difference. So, how will the Golden State Warriors actually surprise everyone then? Patrick Baldwin Jr. is listed as the first person. The second of the Golden State Warriors' 2 preseason games in Japan saw them defeat the Washington Wizards 104-95, with Patrick Baldwin Jr. having a team-high plus 23 rating. Individual plus-minus is obviously misused rather frequently. It must thus be spiced up with additional context that aims to explain why a team performed better or worse whenever a specific player appeared on the court, because, taken by itself, it falls short of giving the full picture. A variety of things can be considered in such a setting, such as the ability to create good shots or the reverse, or have a large positive or bad impact on the defensive end of the court, among others. In Baldwin Jr.'s case, his spot-up movement shooting skills, which were expected to be present in the professional ranks but were largely lacking during his collegiate career, were the main component of the eye-catching value he was able to provide against the Wizards on the offensive end of the floor. It's sufficient to say that Baldwin Jr. won't experience that issue in Golden State. His contributions, if given the minutes, will be of a simple nature: make yourself accessible on the perimeter and shoot if you have room. As a rookie, his role in the depth chart won't rapidly rise anytime soon. His potential use as an off-ball screener within the system is the one that makes me salivate the most. The Warriors like to use wide pin downs and staggered screens for their shooters, according to Synergy. During their regular season of 2021 to 2022, their 10.7 off-ball screens per 100 possessions were the highest rate among all teams. The Warriors bet on Baldwin Jr.'s ankle issues as the reason for his unimpressive college defense when they selected him. The clip portrays him as a burden in that regard, but it may not have mentioned that Baldwin Jr.'s injury-induced immobility may have prevented him from performing to the best of his capacity. Without a doubt, Baldwin Jr. probably won't have a career as an above-average defender, much less even consider the all-defense class of stoppers. But all the Warriors are asking of him at this time is to be a neutral defender, at the very least with flashes of competency as an individual defender at the point of attack in the post as well as a team defender. I'm interested to see how this performance holds up against tougher opposition. Do keep in mind that this is, after all, the preseason, and that a rookie like Baldwin Jr. will see lineup platoons that are similar to his own. Rookies, developing players, and fringe NBA-level players that are actively competing for roster consideration. That is where his plus 23 and 17 minutes will be most asterisked. But there are good reasons why. The Warriors, who had been trailing for the majority of the game, outscored the Wizards by 23 points during Baldwin Jr.'s time on the floor, and ultimately came back to win. It is ultimately hoped that none of those justifications prove to be false. James Michael McAdoo is the next one. Due to the abundance of big players on the squad, McAdoo had been completely absent early. McAdoo would frequently sit out games or play infrequently. All of that changed when David West suffered a broken left thumb in a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder in mid-January. Since Kevin Looney was listed above McAdoo on the depth chart, most experts predicted that he would play the majority of West's minutes. Coach Steph Curry, though, chose to start the 3-year veteran against the Houston Rockets in the first game following West's injury. McAdoo excelled in his game against the Rockets. He played excellent defense in a 125-108 rout and scored 8 points on 3 dunks. Warriors supporters had not seen McAdoo with such assurance and grace throughout his brief stay, and he exuded both confidence and smoothness. When the offense was flowing in the past, McAdoo appeared robotic and frequently slowed down the Warriors' tempo. In contrast, McAdoo appeared to be a completely different player in this game, and it persisted on the road trip. Even though McAdoo, a former Tar Heel, did not play much in Florida, he was given a chance to play in his home state of North Carolina. For Stephen Curry, the wayward son, the game against Charlotte was seen as a welcome back. A portion at Davidson College was named after him the day prior, and his high school jersey had already been retired. McAdoo, who spent 3 years playing for the University of North Carolina, was also returning home for this game. In the 113-103 victory over the Hornets, neither player was let down by Charlotte. Curry scored 28 points, made 6 3-pointers, and distributed 6 assists in a classic Curry performance. With 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 shot blocks, and 1 steal, McAdoo may have had his best game of the year. He appeared fluid once more, giving the Warriors organization and supporters faith that he could make a difference when West returns. Much like when Ian Clark improved his performance after Patrick McCaw sustained an injury. In response to West's injury, McAdoo took the same action. Upon West's return to the rotation, will this persist? I know he can't do it. Given the prospects for the future, Warriors supporters should be ecstatic with McAdoo's performance on the road trip. He now has the appearance of a player who can contribute and make the correct play rather than one who is hesitant and slows down play. Klay Thompson is the final but not the least. Since sustaining 2 consecutive season-ending injuries while playing for the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson has accomplished every item on his recovery to-do list. The Golden State Warriors are depending on Klay Thompson more than ever to get his career back on track, and he is gearing up for it. The most recent instance of Thompson's successful return to the world of basketball was in January, when he made his long-awaited comeback and went on to help the Warriors win a 4th title. Thompson's comeback may have ended in triumph, but the path there was paved with difficulties. He started out rusty, as was to be expected, and ultimately shot the worst 3-point percentage of his career, 38.5%. The playoffs were some of his best play, as he continued to shoot the same percentage from long range while appearing a little more like himself. Less than half of the games on the schedule, 32, were played by Thompson the previous season. With a full offseason to prepare for this season, Thompson anticipates increasing his usage and playing a bigger part in the team's usual offense. This entails playing the role of the NBA's best sidekick while being a threat on defense and draining 3-pointers. Will Thompson and the Dubs enjoy a prosperous 2022-23 campaign? I would wager on it. Thompson is as prepared as he will ever be given that he has successfully completed the reintroduction process and is currently riding a wave of momentum into the season. Thompson is poised to have another all-star caliber season when at his best. The Dubs can rely on Klay to offer them a competitive advantage even if he produces at the same level as last season. Everyone will be hoping that Thompson finds a second wind as he approaches his mid-30s and enters gracefully the final phase of his career. In light of that, here are my predictions for the Golden State Warriors and 3 players who I believe will stand out in the upcoming season. I believe that these 3 are going to emerge from the shadows and help the Golden State Warriors win another championship with their exceptional abilities and athleticism, despite the fact that there are some other big names that will be in the spotlight. What do you think about my viewpoint then? Will these athletes actually succeed? Alternatively, is there a stronger candidate? Do you know the Golden State Warriors will surprise everyone or not? Please share your thoughts.